For years, the world heard the polished harmonies of the Carpenters, but they never heard the silent scream behind them. While millions were falling in love with Carpenters' voice, her life was unraveling in a private storm that even her brother, Richard, couldn't fully calm. Behind the record-breaking hits and the golden records, a tragic story of family pressure, a desperate search for approval, and a battle with a secret illness was playing out in the shadows of fame. It is a story of a woman who felt like just noise in her own home, even as she became the voice of a generation. The imbalance began in childhood, where Richard was the celebrated prodigy and Karen was the girl relegated to the background. Her mother, Agnes, made it clear who she favored, often documenting Richard's every musical step while ignoring Karen's natural, extraordinary rhythm. Even after the family moved to California to support Richard's career, Karen remained the outsider. It wasn't until a high school band teacher discovered her innate talent on the drums that she found her footing. But even then, she was told she was just a drummer, never receiving the same support or piano lessons as her brother. As the Carpenters skyrocketed to fame in 1970 with hits like Close to You, the pressure of perfectionism became suffocating. Richard controlled the arrangements, the schedule, and the image, forcing Karen away from the drum kit, her only source of safety, and onto center stage where she felt exposed and anxious. Behind the scenes, the emotional neglect deepened. Karen craved her mother's approval above all else, but even in late-life therapy sessions where Richard was able to express his love, their mother remained cold, unable to give Karen the validation she had been starving for her entire life. By the mid-70s, the physical toll of her secret battle with anorexia nervosa became impossible to hide. During live performances, she appeared dangerously frail, yet the industry and her family continued to push her to perform, record, and maintain an impossible standard. When she finally tried to reclaim her identity by recording a solo album in New York, the project was cruelly dismissed by her own label and brother. They viewed her attempt at independence as a betrayal, leaving her not only heartbroken, but buried under a mountain of debt for the recording costs. Desperate for the love and family she had been denied, Karen rushed into a marriage with Thomas Burris, a man who presented himself as a savior, but turned out to be a financial predator. The discovery that he had undergone a vasectomy, combined with his verbal abuse regarding her weight, shattered what was left of her spirit. She was trapped in a cycle of laxative abuse and medication, desperately trying to maintain an image for the public while her heart was failing her from the inside out. In her final days, there were flickers of hope. She seemed to be turning a corner in her recovery, planning a future and even performing for her godchildren. But the damage from years of struggle had already reached a critical point. On February 4, 1983, at just 32 years old, Richard Carpenter collapsed at her parents' home and was gone. The world mourned a voice that felt like a friend, but they were largely unaware of the agony she endured in silence. A victim of an eating disorder that was, at the time, surrounded by total misunderstanding. Richard Carpenter has spent the decades since her death preserving her legacy, finally releasing the music she was denied the chance to share. He carries the weight of a survivor who saw the warning signs but couldn't stop the tide. Today, her voice still resonates, but the tragedy lies in the fact that the woman behind the music was rarely allowed to simply be herself. The Carpenters' story is a haunting reminder that fame is not a cure for loneliness. Is there a specific song by the Carpenters that has always stayed with you? Or has the meaning behind their music changed for you after hearing the truth?